Our leaders in the West are psychopathic maniacs. So get this. I'm hearing rumours that France are preparing airstrikes against Niger in Africa. And that if they go through with these airstrikes, Germany is going to back them. Because Germany's got such a great record at war and invading other countries, of course. And you might think, well, why? Why are France, if these rumours are true, why are France preparing to airstrikes against Niger? Well, Niger is one of 6 countries left in Africa that still use the French franc, the CFA franc. I know, right? France doesn't even use the franc. Well, it's all part of the colonial history, of course. And France's colonial history in Africa. And if you control the money supply like this in a country, like France do, in these 6 countries, it was 8, but 2 countries have come off it recently in their coups as well. But if you control the money supply, you essentially control the country and get to do whatever you want with it. And they do. So, for instance, Niger export a lot of uranium to Europe specifically, and other resources as well. And anything that they sell abroad, France taxes 50%. 50. They steal half of the money because it's theirs and they get to do that. I can't imagine why there's been a coup and why there keeps being coups in these countries that are on this CFA franc. Can you? I can't imagine why these countries want to come away from that and move towards Russia and China, who are saying to them, yeah, we'll deal with you on a fair and even basis and treat you like equals and we'll respect your sovereignty. I can't imagine why they would want to come away from that. But understand this, if this is true, France, and along with Germany, are threatening to do exactly what they have been condemning Russia for doing for the last 18 months. They've been pumping weapons and support into Ukraine to fight this proxy war against Russia because they say Russia is a big, bad, bigger country that invaded them and should respect their sovereignty. Well, what about Niger's sovereignty, France? Germany? Do they not matter? Or is it just the white Europeans that matter? Psychopathic maniacs. A lot of them. Consider the history of Africa and these African countries. Consider it from their point of view. They've had centuries of countries like France, like the UK, like America, stealing their wealth and their resources and then condemning the country for being poor and backward. Oh, it's a poor country. You're stealing all its wealth, that's why. Not just its wealth, but its people too. You stole its people for hundreds of years ago and were selling them into the slave trade. So you've not just stolen their wealth and their people and then have the gall to say, oh, they're poor countries. They're not poor. Got plenty of uranium in Niger. It's only poor because France is stealing half of its stuff. We've been assassinating any leaders in Africa that want to come away from the colonial rule. And now they're threatening to bomb, they're threatening airstrikes on Niger because they want to come away from that system. I can't imagine what it must be like for Africans to know the history as they do and have lived for hundreds of years under the boot of colonialism like this. And then after having hundreds of years of their wealth being stolen and their people being stolen and sold into the slave trade and their leaders being assassinated whenever they wanted to come away from colonial rule, I can't imagine what it must feel like for them to now listen to our leaders threaten war and at the same time say, oh, by the way, you've got to treat your gays better in Africa because that's human rights now. I can't imagine what it's like for them listening to our leaders say these things to them and act this way. It's criminal. And it's criminal that we, in these Western countries, are allowing our leaders to get away with it in our name. They're psychopathic maniacs. Don't you agree? Let me know what you think about this in the comments below.